3 years ago, 35-year-old Matt Smith dreamt up an audacious dream and planned to go from novice to Olympic cross-country skier in just 3 years. Smith swiftly graduated from the nursery slopes onto the big leagues. He went on to be South Africa's Winter Olympic flag bearer, where he took part in cross-country skiing at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. Matt now joins us virtually all the way from Norway to chat to us about his remarkable journey. Matt, we're so excited to chat to you. I mean, when I first saw your videos pop up on social media, I thought, my goodness, how did this guy do it? And I read a little bit about your story. You are a tech entrepreneur. You met with someone. It was actually a chance encounter, someone from a non-typical nation of Mexico. But I haven't really quite heard why it was cross-country skiing. Was it because of that chance encounter with this Mexican friend of yours that qualified in cross-country skiing that you decided, well, I'm going to give it a shot in this? Or was there something else in your periphery that had been leading you to cross-country skiing? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, South Africa. So listen, the journey started because you can't be what you can't see. And I met a Mexican in my chance encounter you referenced, cross-country skier. And I'm living in Norway, which is the home of cross-country skiing. And I thought to myself, well, if he's doing it for Mexico, why can't I do it for South Africa? So that's very much how the journey began and why cross-country skiing.
It's definitely, you know, when you talk about serendipity, when you talk about things that are perhaps divine intervention, you were quite, I think, a proficient athlete. You had played rugby, you were a proficient triathlete. So did you think that you had the foundation for cross-country skiing in your mind? And then when you started, was it, you know, what was that chasm like? Was it like, okay, I can do this? Or, oh my gosh, I did not know what I was in for?
Well, if you saw me at the beginning, there was nothing divine about this intervention, I'll tell you that. I mean, it wasn't a learning curve, it was very much a learning cliff, and I didn't know if I was clambering up or falling down the cliff half the time, right? But honestly, the idea really from the beginning was inspired by the fact that, believe it or not, and I say this message importantly to South Africans because we have a strong triathlon community. Triathlon as a sport translates, interestingly and to my surprise, very well into cross-country skiing because it's a full-body, holistic, cardiovascular-driven sport. Obviously, very different techniques, cycling on a bike, gliding on one leg on skis, but that was actually the foundation that really set me up for success and made it a bit of a leapfrog from one sport to another. And then I had to figure out a few things and try not to fall on my bum all the time.
Listen, as a sports scientist, I'm not surprised by that at all. You're training in the right zones. It's also the mental game, and I know that you've spoken about this quite a bit. There's, yes, definitely the physical aspect of preparing for something like the Olympics, but you really needed to focus on some of the mental hurdles, the criticism that came from people within Norway, like the podcasters, where you ended up joining and trying to challenge them around thinking about other nations and growing the sport as well. Give us some insight into how you prepared for this mentally.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because it's an area that's not spoken about enough, actually. And I'll take that question in two parts. One of which is, you know, we just had the all-time greatest cross-country skier, you know, the Roger Federer, the Brian Habana of cross-country skiing, has just won the 6 golds back-to-back, Johannes Klæbo, Norwegian. And he actually said something which we need to popularize more, which is, instead of just training the physical, we also need to train the mental. Because in cardiovascular sports, endurance sports, we talk a lot about it's mind over matter, right? It's that 20% you don't know you have that your mind pushes you through the barrier. So early on, I started to train my mind as well as my physical, right? If you looked at my training week, it would be the physical, and there would be mental training in blocks as well. And one thing I've actually joined a program post the games called the Relaxation Clause, part of Corona Zero, one of the worldwide partners of the games, to focus on athletes actually taking a break and focusing on their mindset during and after the game. So it's cool that a brand and a business is trying to popularize actually not just focusing on the physical, but focusing on the mental side too. Because Johannes Klæbo did say one thing. He's just won 6 golds back-to-back in 6 medal events for the cross-country skiing. And he credited that to, I've been training harder than anyone, but I've also been resting harder than everyone. I've been working on my mindset harder than anyone too.
I love to hear that, because there's also this period after something like an Olympic Games where athletes start to go through a form of depression and anxiety sets in, you know. It's almost as if
gold medal syndrome.
Yes, exactly, as if it wasn't real. So it's nice to see, as you mentioned, brands coming across and supporting those athletes as well. So you've relocated to Norway, one of the most expensive countries to be based in, to live in, and obviously, yes, one of the best nations. I hear your baba in the background there. That's so awesome. You have a 9-month-old. No, it's all good. A future cross-country skier,
We're a family-friendly show. We're a family-friendly show.
Amazing. Give us a sense of what it was like to prepare, having such a young baby, your wife there obviously supporting you, the entire ecosystem around you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that because actually I get asked the question all the time. What is the hardest thing about what you've done? What was the biggest challenge? Oh, the training, it sounds so difficult, right? But the truth is, us as the athletes aren't the ones who pay the true cost of what we're doing. It's the
Yeah.
people around us, actually. So it's my fiance who's sitting just across from me right now. It's my 9-month-old son who hopefully hasn't bared too much of the brunt of it because he's only 9 months. But, it's our friends who have to deal with us being grumpy, tired, not up for meeting, greeting, because as an athlete, you're pretty boring, actually. You eat, sleep, train, repeat, right? So actually shout out to anyone who's around someone doing something athletic, be it just your weekend warriors or your Olympic athletes, right? It's really the people, the family, the friends around them that are the ones who deserve all the credit, really, because they have to put up with us when we're a little bit hangry and a little bit tired. And trust me, as a fatigued athlete, that is your status quo.
Perhaps he's a future broadcaster like his dad and motivational speaker there as well. I've got 1 minute. I've got to let you go. Hopefully we can have a longer conversation at another time. But, the Trentino region where you competed is a beautiful region. I've been there as well. The Italians welcomed you in. They called you Grande Mate. You've been called a ski bok as well as the ski fluencer as well.
Snowbok.
Yeah, the snowbok, sorry, as well as the ski fluencer. Yeah. Has it all has it settled in? Do you understand the weight on your shoulders also now to perhaps help grow the sport with South African athletes? If there's anyone that could do it, it's probably you that can help spread the message in South Africa.
Yeah, and I would love to use this platform to do that as well, because I learned two things in this journey. One of which is, as an athlete, you are also an entertainer, right? So to your point about social media, I was one of the most visible people on social media at @MattC_Smith_ on Instagram, the Snowbok on TikTok, during the games. And I was doing that through educating people about the sport, educating about South Africa, about the 5 athletes. This is the biggest team we've ever sent to the games. And to the second part of that, as an athlete as well, it is my responsibility, I see it, to lead the baton for the next, right? Now I'm 35, as you said. So I'm kind of pushing retirement age in elite sports. A very short professional career of only 3 years for me. But now I say this, we got 4 years till the next games. I say this right now publicly. I'm doing it on social media too. If you are a South African at home or abroad and you're interested in learning about winter sports, hit me up because I want to start a development program so that we won't have 5 at the next games, we'll have 15. And at the next games after that, we'll have 50. And very soon, we'll be medal contending. Mark my words. The Snowboks are going to challenge the Springboks for our beautiful franchise brand value around the world. Let's go, Bokke.
I love that, Matt. Wow, what a way to use your influence and to use your platform. Thank you for chatting to us. We're going to get you on a longer conversation, definitely. There's so much still to unpack. We've been chatting to Matt Smith, who just in a very short space of time went from being a tech entrepreneur living in Cape Town to then living in Norway and becoming an Olympian representing South Africa, not just at the Olympics, at the Winter Olympics. And he's just said it now. If you are interested in pursuing cross-country skiing, in pursuing this type of adventure for your life, sporting adventure, hit him up on social media. You can contact him there. He's looking at developing the sport, which is absolutely amazing. You can find him on Instagram and on TikTok as well.